Today we're talking about radio and technology and how radio has really kind of been at the forefront of technology and has been leaders and pioneers in technology ever since the beginning. I talk about technology and radio because, well, I have a couple of little projects in front of me, all of which involve technology. So basically we've got an email migration and a big project, rebuild project for one of the mountaintops, and all of that. And so, and computer upgrades, and really it's kind of a heavy IT time right now with the station and with me and where I'm at. I mean, I'm no spring chicken anymore. There was a time when I would spend hours a day learning new technology, learning how to write code and do all this stuff, but I don't have that time anymore. I have a family, I have volunteer things outside, and I just have life. Yes, it is part of my job, and I still learn technology, but not to the extent that I did before. So now I've got to kind of focus on what I'm learning and what I'm researching in order to be able to, that is my dog running back and forth trying to go after the squirrels, trying to find ways to be more efficient with what we have and to be more effective with what we have. Now, part of that is I don't know everything. I know it might be a shock to some of you, but I don't know everything. And I will be the first to admit that. I don't know everything. So because of that, I kind of have to trust experts to do that. So right now, what we are doing is okay, let me back up. So for the longest time, we were using Google apps, basically like Gmail for business. It's called Google Workspace right now. It's had several different names in the past. But back in, goodness, what was that? 2010, 2007, 2006, something around that time. It first opened up to the general business world, and we were kind of one of the first ones to jump on the bandwagon. And at the time, we were using a simple mail server that was provided to us by the church, and it just, there was a lot of junk mail, there was a lot of documents that were emailed back and forth, and there were a lot of documents that were out of date when they were emailed back and forth. So we had to find a way to consolidate, to reduce the amount of junk mail that we got, and so that's why we moved to Google Apps, is what I'll call it for right now. Well, today it's 2021, and technology has progressed so far, and our broadcast system is so technical now. There are so many different parts and aspects that I just cannot fully stay up to date on. Switches, servers, networking, firewalls, all that type of stuff. So we're hiring a company that will basically modernize our infrastructure, our switches, our firewalls, things like that, and they will also be helping us to manage those aspects as well. So we're in the early processes of that, but I think it's good because I can't do it all. And I have other things. I need to be taking care of the RF side of things. I need to be looking at my transmitter sites, our automation systems. And so having a company who knows IT, who knows switches, who knows firewalls, this is what they do. Having them manage it, it's going to take a load off of my mind because like I said, I don't know it all. So, but coming back to the email thing that I was kind of talking about, we're going to be moving a lot of email and documents over to the Office 365 platform, partially because that platform also gives us kind of like an Active Directory. Anyways, IT stuff. So you'll probably see some more of that. But anyways, email makes the world go round. It is the lifeblood of business right now. It's the best way for non-urgent communication. And so, we send and we receive thousands and thousands of emails. And so finding ways to be effective with that and to be more because we can easily get flooded, we can easily get overwhelmed. Finding a way to deal with that better is one of the projects that we're working on right now. But emails are what send me alarms. I get alarms through email for our different sites. I get emails for meetings, for information, communication, all different types of things. The second thing that kind of really has been a big change in this last year and is a big shift in the industry is voice over IP. And as you know, we've just switched over to a VoIP provider, and I would say it has been a pretty successful switch over. Everything has gone very, very smoothly. Everything works as it should, as it's expected. And so, as technology moves, and why I bring up VoIP is because copper lines are getting really expensive to maintain. Our ISDN lines, which was the backbone of radio station connections, remote connections, itinerant connections here and there, those are so expensive to maintain right now. What was a couple of $100 a month a few years ago is now well over $1,000 a month, and you cannot get new service installed. So we've got to find ways to move forward, and internet, IP, voice over IP. There are so many different ways of doing it now, but it all revolves around IP. It all revolves around the internet and that type of technology. But yeah, phones nowadays, they're just computers. This is just a computer. One of the applications that it has is sending real-time voice and receiving real-time voice. So, I mean, it's amazing to see where we've come from a device that has circuitry in it, that circuitry just does voice communication, to now a computer that does all sorts of things plus voice communication. So, I mean, it is, like I said, radio is a very technical world. And then the last thing that's come into play for the last, gosh, how many years? 20, 30 years has been the introduction of computers for the playout of audio, of commercials, of song, of music, of talk programming. I mean, computers really are what run radio stations these days. Whether it's the traffic computer that generates all the commercial logs and things like that, or the music scheduling for music stations, or it's the actual playout. I mean, there's so many different aspects of that world, of the radio world, that have become computerized. And so the new frontier right now, and some of you guys who are in IT will laugh at this, but the new frontier for radio is virtualization. This is kind of cool. If you're not familiar with virtualization, you basically have servers, and you've already had interaction with virtualization. In fact, you're watching this video on a platform that's virtualized. But virtualization is a bunch of servers that are running a program or several programs, and it's the same hardware. If I have 10 servers, I only need 1 or 2 machines, physical machines, and they all run on that hardware. So we're going to be consolidating a lot of machines into a single hardware. Our audio recording system that logs the station 24 hours a day, we're going to consolidate that. Probably some audio processing for dealing with our streams. A few other different things here and there that may also get virtualized. And it's going to be a new, interesting way of doing it. And in a way, a little bit more resilient. So we're going to have two machines. Everything will run on one machine safely, but if that machine fails, it automatically switches over to the backup machine with little to no interruption. And then we'll take the data there, we'll back it up off-site, and it'll make it easier for us to do disaster recovery in an event that we have to rebuild. So It's an interesting time right now in radio and in technology. Virtualization is a huge push, a big push to reduce costs. Instead of having to maintain 10 different servers, I'm maintaining 2 servers and in 10 different pieces of software. So the hardware costs go down, the maintenance costs go down. It's really going to be interesting to see. And it's exciting. So anyways, that's my little tech talk for today. As soon as I get more details, as we start moving through the actual process, I will put some more videos out about that. In fact, actually, you did see a little bit about that. You saw when I put the cage nuts in and I was moving that rack out and the whole rack project, if you will. Yeah, that was part of the virtualization project. Anyways, at least that crazy part is done. So as we start progressing through, I'll try to document as much as I can and bring you along on the project, and at least we'll both learn something along the way, hopefully. Anyways, until next time, stay safe, stay healthy.